Good afternoon and good morning, colleagues, depending on where you're joining us from. I am Sherry-Ann Farquharson, Knowledge Management and Capacity Development Expert for the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, CCRE. Welcome to the third Regional Universities Networking webinar. We're happy that you've been able to join us, and we look forward to quite an interactive session today. The Regional Universities Network is a network of excellence for sustainable energy research and education, which aims to enhance the knowledge and capacity that is required to support innovation within the energy and related sectors in the region. Today's main presentation is from Dr. Ruth Patapsing, Associate Vice President of Sustainability at University of Technology, Jamaica. As Dr. Patapsing presents on the topic, Innovative Approaches in Tertiary Education, the case of the Master's degree in Sustainable Energy and Climate Change at the University of Technology, Jamaica, she will be joined by two graduates of the program who will also share their experiences, Mr. Roberto Ellis and Mrs. Alicia Smith-Grove. Here are a few housekeeping matters before I hand over to Dr. Patapsing. We ask that you use the raise hand feature if you have a question or comment, and wait to be acknowledged where we'll allow you to speak. Also, you may engage with us via the chat throughout the session. And with that, I hand over to Dr. Ruth.
Thank you very much, Ms. Farquharson. It is my great pleasure to be with you this morning and to welcome my co-presenters, Roberta Ellis and Alicia Smith-Grove, and to engage you for the next half an hour or so in a presentation followed by the noted question and answer section. So I will share my screen if you will allow me to share screen, please. Right, so here we go. Am I sharing? Are you seeing?
Not yet. It says you're sharing, but it's blank.
Maybe it takes a little while to come on. It says live.
Maybe stop sharing and start again. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know.
We're seeing it now, Dr.
It's there now. Okay, well, oops.
These things happen. It seems like you stopped sharing, so you can go again.
It stopped sharing?
Yes, it did. It stopped sharing, so you can probably start again.
Oh. Sherry-Ann, I did send you the video. I wonder if what's happening here. I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe the internet is Sherry-Ann?
Yes, I'm not sure that okay, all right, so you want me to share the PowerPoints for you and then, okay, no problem.
Yeah, are you seeing, do you have it?
I do have it.
Okay. I think the Wi-Fi somehow is...
No problem. But... Okay.
Sure, but then you will have to...
No problem. I'll just take my cues from you.
Okay, thank you very much. And sorry about that technical glitch. So we are very pleased to be sharing this morning with you on energy innovative business research that is generated from the master's degree program that is offered by the University of Technology, Jamaica. So today I will present a brief overview of the Masters of Science degree, a course of study which was developed with financial and technical assistance of the German International Agency through CARICOM. So we had the benefit of a cross-pollination of inputs from local academia, academics, and industry leaders. So that was really a water for our program. Next slide, please. So if I can, Sherry Ann? Yes. So if I can use the business approach to our degree program, using the value proposition, we see here that our product is an innovation-driven, interdisciplinary, problem-solving based energy climate change master's degree. It's a multidisciplinary degree. And the end benefits are producing equipped graduates who can identify and meet the needs for sustainable energy, which is allied to climate change at the levels of policy, green entrepreneurship, and to create employment for a sustainable future. We saw the need for us to engage the whole area of climate change because of its importance in the whole in the global scenario. Our target customers are critical thinkers, entrepreneurs, persons with entrepreneurial ambitions, policymakers, and any agent of sustainable development. And we want to produce transformational leaders using the energy and climate change nexus. The uniqueness of this program, based on our value proposition, is that it provides a strong foundation in the global and regional issues of sustainable energy, energy that is clean, that is accessible, that is affordable, and renewable, and linked to climate change. And this includes technical issues, policy issues, innovation in green entrepreneurship, internships in industry or in the public sector, innovation-based research in green business ideas. And this is supported by our interdisciplinary partnerships from academia, from government, from industry, both locally and internationally. So we base our delivery on 8 core foundational courses, which are listed here. I will not go through them one by one. So you can research methodologies, energy resources, sustainable lifestyle, energy and environment, to policies, regulations, and economics. We also have principles and practice of green business. We can go to the next slide. No, principles and practices of green business, energy and environmental data management, because we find that there is not a sufficient appreciation of energy big data in looking at energy management and in climate change issues, as well as green innovation and entrepreneurship. These core courses are supplemented by electives, and we offer a range of electives, which would include smart grid and smart grid electric mobility. We have also, the next slide, please. We have sustainable community development, integrated water resources, the bio-based economy, and sustainable planning and climate change, which has to do a lot with urban development planning. So these electives are also subject are offered on demand and are subject to the number of students who choose them and their leanings towards either policy, urban planning, engineering, and stronger engineering technical subjects. But we also offer these electives as standalone modules. And that makes our program very interesting. Followed by, we have our final research paper, which is a feasibility-based business research on sustainable energy and climate change and sustainable development solutions. This is backed up by 160 hours of internship that is in a related industry, and it is linked to the subject of the student's research. Next. So we are moving the program into making research and innovation relevant and adaptive and move it to commercialization. Why? Because in our region, we need to be engaged in job creation, economic growth, wealth creation, global competitiveness, and social and political stability through offering these courses that provide students with the opportunity to open their own businesses. Thank you. Next. So far, we have had a series of research-based entrepreneurial type studies done. We have approximately 47 of the research projects that have been done are related to projects from repurposed waste materials, whether it's used car tires or plastics. We have 11% of the studies relating to energy efficiency in buildings and building design. We have 16% in IT apps, and we're going to hear from one of our graduates who did an IT app. 21% is creating of sustainable products from biodegradable products. So for example, we have, with the banning of single-use plastics in Jamaica, this set of students looked at biodegradable food boxes, takeout boxes, using bamboo and bagasse. So we encourage our students in determining their research business to look at what are the problems that exist, because a problem provides an opportunity for business. And finally, 5% on policy. And that policy relates to climate financing, and the other on setting up an app also to access financing for small businesses. Thank you. Next. Right, so we move into entrepreneurship with our students. And now I will hand over to Roberta Ellis, who will tell us very briefly about his app. So you can change the slide and Roberta will join.
Roberta, you're still muted.
Yes. Everybody hearing me now?
Yes, you're clear.
Okay. So thanks, Dr. P, and welcome to all our attendees. I will just be giving you a brief overview of what I did for my research. Just a bit of context before we move forward. We were asked to do a solution that would be useful in our local space. It would be contribute to sustainable development. It should be backed by research, and also importantly, it should be able to be commercialized in the future. So having done some work in the space of sustainable transportation, fuel economy, and vehicle emissions, again, next slide, please. I narrowed down my focus towards public transportation. And in that, I went even further to focus on the Jamaica Urban Transit Company. So my research topic was optimizing public transportation, improving the Jamaica Urban Transit Company commuter experience with technological solutions. So I looked at why we have, for a small country of 2.7 million people, we have quite a number of motor vehicles on our streets daily. So why is this? We realize that most persons find the public transportation system a bit inconvenient. Some would even say it's unreliable and less attractive. And in majority of the case, this is true. So what I focused on is could I change the perception as it relates to persons taking the JUTC and having a good experience getting from point A to point B. And in the end, we zeroed in on 440 JUTC buses that is available in the fleet. Now, there you'll see a figure of 358,000 vehicles that contributes to a part of the national fleet. So that refers to light duty vehicle fleets. And what is classified as light duty is anything that weighs less than 4,000 kg. And the ultimate aim is to reduce the use of these motor vehicles by providing an efficient and a better option for persons who commute daily. And by doing this, we would increase the public trust in our JUTC bus system. Harmful vehicle emissions would be reduced, and we'd have more data for better decision making, both on the side of the commuter and on the side of JUTC. And in the end, we aim to reduce the national fuel economy. Next slide, please. So my solution was the Javel app, and this comes from playing on the words Jamaica Travels. And it was designed to provide a real-time location of buses, estimated travel, and give some capacity information. So a person could tell if a bus is full, if they should wait on the other bus, or if the other bus is too far, so you just stand and go about their business. And it helps you to plan trips better and give a bit more reliability in what to expect as a commuter. So from personal experience, waiting on a JUTC bus is really like playing the lottery sometimes. And you don't know if you should wait or you should just jump on something. And there's also the issue of security as well. So for the most part, the buses are the most secure means of transportation. However, they are limited in the scope of where they go and the routes that they take. So on the screen, you will see a mock-up of what my app would look like if built out. It shows one feature, the bus locator feature, and how one could go about logging in and choosing their bus and seeing where exactly that bus is. Currently, there is nothing that can help someone. JUTC does have schedules. Those are really static, and it doesn't account for things that might happen day to day. So some of the pains that the commuters might experience is a long waiting, a schedule being shot because something happened that you know nothing about. So you're unable to make snap decisions about going about your daily business. So in the research, we were able to decipher what features to add, what to take out, and how to deliver those features to the maximum benefit of the commuter. And there's also a short video on YouTube with a demonstration of this bus locator feature. So you can check out that when you have the time. Next slide, please. So how did I arrive here? First, I must say that we were introduced to a green entrepreneurial thinking, and that environment was created for us to really look at what we can do in a sustainable sense in solving the solution. So that was a bit different from what I was exposed to during my undergraduate studies, doing a traditional research. Another important thing that happened, probably the best thing that happened, was that I got the chance to go to the JUTC to do an internship that spanned over 3 months. And I was placed in the service planning department. And this afforded me the opportunity to be right there to soak up the different operations and processes and get my hands on the data that could shed some light on why things weren't working in an efficient manner, and the challenges that the company itself has in delivering their services. So we had many iterations of pitches, so it got us comfortable with sharing our idea and delivering it in a way that was very to the point and very impactful. We had a lot of support from diverse and international technical support. So one of the key things that we did was getting ourselves exposed to different research methods. And we had someone from Sweden come and taught us about action research. Then we have our own local Dr. Paul Ivy from UTech, who gave us a very good introduction on how to protect our IP rights, so our ideas can remain profitable to us and be used in a good manner. We had good research supervisors. So my supervisors, one were at the Ministry of Transport and Mining, which is very relevant to my area. And then we had an experienced urban planner, transportation planner, that offered advice step by step on where I should focus my research on the type of data and type of information that I needed to extract. We were provided with a space to do our research, whether on weekends, evenings, and this allowed us to really focus and zone in on completing our research. Planned milestones. Now, along doing the research, we established different targets, and by meeting those targets, we were able to stay on track and not be sidetracked by probably other issues that might have popped up, or other problems that by exploring the research, you might notice that, oh, there's another idea that I could do. And what's next? I think it is now time to do a proper comprehensive business plan. And then from that, you can use that as a tool to secure additional funding to probably build out a beta version of the app and have user testing. So that was my experience very briefly. And I see it as very fruitful, and I hope to take this idea further, because even now, 2 years after, it is really still needed. I don't see anything like it. So looking forward to pushing it a little bit further. So thank you. I think we'll take the questions at the end of the presentation. So I'll hand back to the moderator. Thanks.
Thank you. So I think now Alicia, we invite Alicia Smith-Grove, Mrs. Grove.
Ms. Ferguson, Dr. Patapson, thank you so much for having me, and welcome to our listeners. Building on what Roberto had just said, I also came up with a green business idea And I utilized the product from repurposed waste material, as well as looking at energy efficient building solutions. So I came up with a rubberized concrete building block. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the search for housing or construction material that is affordable, resilient, and energy efficient is a burden, not just for the state alone, but for individuals as well. This in addition to the overfilled municipal solid waste landfills that we have here in Jamaica. Municipal solid waste such as old damaged rubber tires, which are non-biodegradable and are abandoned constantly. Old rubber tires pose significant environmental and health concerns. It is estimated that over 1 million used tires are discarded annually in Jamaica. And as a result, my research was aimed at investigating, designing, and developing an alternative building material that, when used, would produce a sustainable building unit that would facilitate the attenuation of heat flow through the external fabric. And it was affordable to Jamaica's low-income earners. I was assisted by my supervisor, Dr. Marva Blankson, and she is one of Jamaica's leading concrete experts. So I was in good hands, and the information I will give to you has credence. So based on my approach, I was governed by 3 pending issues that we have here in Jamaica. The first was the inability to procure housing or the required building material. For the past 2 decades, the increases in the cost of affordable housing units or building material, the worsening incomes of household heads, and the spreading inequalities between the poor and the rich has exacerbated shelter poverty, exposing the fragility of low-income home ownership. Many Jamaican poor are unable to afford housing that is safe, secure, and within their income bracket, as many low-income Jamaicans make less than $35 per week. Coupled with the high costs associated with low-income households and housing, there is a significant energy cost associated with low-income housing based on the nature of the building materials used for low-income housing units. These households incur significant costs to cool their homes, especially in the summer and in some geographic locations, based on the material used in construction, such as zinc and plyboard. In addition to all of that, many traditional building materials here in Jamaica are not meeting sustainable criteria. Neither are they at a cost that is affordable to the poor. Yesterday, the real estate developers and contractors released a statement warning individuals to brace for higher prices for construction material. Added to all of that, the increased indoor temperatures due to climate change. In recent times, one of the effects of climate change is increased indoor temperatures, which can be uncomfortable and lead to some form of illness to occupants. Several efforts to mitigate, such as the utilization of electrical devices for cooling purposes, is used. However, this is costly and it increases the already high levels of carbon footprint of our buildings. Worse, in this pandemic, with all the restrictions, the curfews, and the no movement orders, making staying at home unbearable. Next slide, please. Thank you. So now, what was my solution? The solution was to investigate the feasibility and develop a building material that was, one, affordable and can be used as a mitigative strategy to combat climate change. Therefore, the development of a rubberized hollow concrete building block was done. As it relates to the properties, we'll only just cover 4 for engineering purposes. Measurement, the hollow rubberized infused blocks conforms to the Jamaican standard JS35, and this means that it is compatible with the commonly used traditional hollow building blocks here in Jamaica. As it relates to impact resistant, the drop weight method of impact testing recommended by AC1 Committee 544/1988 was followed during my process. A 4.5 kg or a 10 pounds standard manual operated hammer was repeatedly released and dropped on the specimen until initial minor cracking was observed, and then until failure, because we had to ensure that the material could withstand certain impact. So the reference specimen, which represents like the traditional building blocks here in Jamaica, took 8 blows for initiation of crack to occur. What was observed with the specimens, RC1, which is partial replacement, 1%, RC5 and RC15, the number of blows needed for cracking to occur steadily decreased. However, the findings revealed that the specimen with the 25% partial replacement of rubber received more than 300 blows, but cracking was never initiated. The test on the 25% rubber content replacement showed enormous resilience and demonstrated suitability for use in areas where a structure requires high resistance to impact loads. At the end of the process, though, it was evident that the ability of the rubber to absorb energy was remarkably high, which is a good idea and a good product for buildings that are, or locations that are prone to earthquakes. As it relates to the compressive strength, the Bureau of Standards, which is the entity responsible for promoting and encouraging standardization in relation to commodities, processes, and practices in the island, their requirement for individual unit is 5.6 MPa. Now, my man-made, because I had to make the specimens myself, showed a very high compressive strength coming out actually at 5.6 MPa as well. Specimens RC1 and RC5, which is rubber crumb percentage, substitution was practically the same as the reference. However, with the increase in the rubber crumb percentage, the compressive strength reduced. As such, the recommendations for the hollow concrete blocks is that they should be used as no load bearing blocks during the construction process. And finally, as it relates to the thermal conductivity, because we're trying to ensure that whatever material we develop would have been energy efficient. So the thermal properties, such as conductivity and resistivity, were critical in assessing the potential energy efficiency of rubberized concrete to be used in residential building applications. The results indicated that the value of concrete thermal conductivity decreased with the increase in the percentage of rubber aggregate, therefore improving the insulating value of the blocks. This is attractive for tropical temperature climates like Jamaica. RC5% replacement, that specimen had a thermal conductivity of 0.51 watts per MK compared to traditional hollow concrete blocks because they are at 0.8 watts per MK. Therefore, the thermal conductivity reduced by 17% when we did the calculation with the 25% rubber content blocks. This indicated a decrease in the rate of heat transfer through the concrete and actually the building envelope, making it a better insulator. Next slide, please. Final slide, please. Now you might be asking, having this product that is energy efficient, using reposed waste material, therefore helping with climate change. What are some of the future opportunities? Now, the government has implemented a new initiative to combat the pending issues of homelessness here in Jamaica. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation has launched what is called a new social housing program. The program was developed to improve the housing condition of the country's poor and disadvantaged population by providing quality, affordable, and sustainable housing. To maximize its effectiveness, the program was divided into 3 modalities. The first speaks to the provision of indigent housing. The benefits will be equitable, distributed across all of our 63 constituencies, with constituency receiving 5 units per annum. Approximately 315 housing units per annum will be constructed under this modality. The second phase, though, is relocation of vulnerable communities. These are persons who live or whose lives are in imminent danger, will be given priority under this aspect. And this would also include individuals that lose their homes because of either man-made or natural disaster. And the last modality, they would be looking at the upgrading of tenement, otherwise known as big yards. One such project will be undertaken per constituency annually. So you see that there is a lot of activities as it relates to new housing development for low-income earners. This same ministry has launched a competition in this year, 2021, where individuals are challenged with designing and developing low-income housing building materials. This is where my blocks would come in, as they are cheaper to manufacture than traditional building blocks, as well as promoting sustainability. And lastly, the Ministry of Local Government has also launched a similar program, and this program is known as the Indigent Housing Program. And this is where they provide housing solutions for the very poor in Jamaica. Over the last year, 44 houses have been built and handed over. This is yet another project that my blocks will be ideal for. This is the end. Thank you so much.
So thank you. These are only 2 of our many star students who have produced outstanding research results from their business ideas. So what of the future? Increased number of innovation projects with potential for IP. And Mrs. Smith-Grove is in the process of registering her IP, as well as we will be looking at increased support for graduates who have bankable products and after graduation. So we are not intending to leave our students without further support. And we are now in discussions with how we can have an incubator to incubate these projects that have been developed by our Masters in Sustainable Energy and Innovation at the University of Technology. We want to reposition the University of Technology Jamaica as an institution of choice for adaptive technologies, innovation, and green business incubation. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Patapsing, Roberto, Alicia. It's been a good morning or afternoon sharing with you, hearing what it is that you are doing. And we want to now get the conversation started. I see at least one attendee has their hand up, so I will ask our host to allow her to speak, but we'll begin though with Angelica Namdar. She is the Run coordinator, the Regional Universities Network coordinator, and she joins us from the Anton de Kom University of Suriname, and she's the director for the master's program in renewable energy there. So, Angelica, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the approach that UTech has taken.
Good afternoon, everyone. Excellent presentation, and I think also a good program, very relevant for the region. Indeed, we also have a Master of Science in Renewable Energy Technology program. Actually, it's a joint Master of Science program in Suriname and Guyana, but the focus of our program is different than the focus of the Jamaican program. Let me call it the Jamaican, the UTech program. In our case, we really focus on the technology part, and the objective is really that students learn to measure, to build on technical things regarding to the energy development. So we cannot really compare one program with each other. I think that both are the same, but I like of the students, and I think that those are very relevant for the region, and we can learn out of it. And I think that one of the strengths that we can learn from is the focus on going further with registering the IPs, the intellectual properties for those projects, since I think that if things are new, we should also get benefits out of that. That's it in a broader way.
Okay, thanks so much, Angelica. And I'll say definitely I appreciate those linkages. And Dr. Ruth, I just want to find out the approach that you've taken is not the typical, let's say, university approach. I want to know, what are the benefits you're seeing so far of taking that approach of ensuring that students are, well, not just employable, but they are implementing solutions in the industry? What are the benefits that you've been seeing so far?
Well, the students are well-rounded in a number of other areas. They're not just merely doing a degree, but they're able to apply the knowledge that they have in whatever they have been in their fundamental areas of operation. So you heard from Alicia, for instance. Alicia was the coordinator for the local habitat office here. And the question is, did she have an engineering degree? No, she did not. She's an urban planner. But because of garnering all the information and processing the teaching that she received, as well as the exposure to both industry and academia and the other internships and so on, she was able to come up the learning curve very quickly in actually producing a concrete block in a lab. So, you know, we are seeing that students are being transformed from their original thought patterns and looking forward. In this time of a global pandemic, we need our students to be more adaptive and to apply their skills, their learnings, their competencies to everyday solutions for our country and to the wider world. Because whatever solutions we come up with, they can be applied anywhere else in the world.
Okay, thank you so much. And I really do like that you don't need to start out as an engineer, but that the program does allow you to gain the necessary building blocks that you need in order to be successful in the industry. All right, we have a hand raised from Genevieve Smith. So just gonna ask that you unmute and ask your question. Genevieve, you should have the option where you see your mic to unmute. All right, while you're getting that sorted, I will ask another question that came in, and hopefully we can take your question after that. This question, the first one, is to Roberto. How far into the development phase is your app at present, and what was the feedback from the Jamaica Urban Transit Company on what you are developing?
Okay, thanks for the question. Currently, the app is just in the design and prototyping phase. So there's not a end product that has been created, rather a mock-up that you can really just test the features and see how it would look. So the feedback from JUTC, I shared my research with the supervisor for the service planning department, and she was really interested in the solution. So it has been something that they see themselves taking on probably further down the line. I know they were focusing on getting their vehicle fleet outfitted with more efficient fuel. So that was kind of the primary focus for them at the time, but the idea was welcome, and I hope to continue the dialogue with them going further and see how far we can push this.
Okay, all right, thanks, Roberto. And the next question is for Alicia. Thank you for the technical specifications in terms of how they compare, but wondered if there's any information on how hurricane-resistant houses built with these blocks are, and perhaps the category of hurricane that they may withstand compared to regularly used blocks, given the region that we're operating in and the climate changes that you mentioned.
Thank you so much for the question. As it relates to the properties, there are quite a few amount that I didn't touch. We also looked at absorption and we looked at porosity. In line with all the properties and the requirements that is needed for a building material to withstand the climatic changes that we have here in Jamaica, it is a material that is feasible and can be used. However, as stated before, it's been recommended to be used as a no load bearing block. One of the things that makes this product unique, and it would be really feasible for Jamaicans, is that it also comes in different colors, which would be less affordable for painting, as well as the render process that is used. Because of the rubber chrome, it allows the voids that would be generally identified in traditional blocks. It seals and holds the concrete even better with the inclusion of the rubber blocks, because it also assists with the insulation, and it also has the compressive requirement. It is ready to be used as it is today.
Okay, all right, thank you so much for that, Alicia. Genevieve, oh, I see you're now unmuted. You go ahead and ask your question. If you are speaking, I'm not hearing you. All right, Genevieve, not sure what's happening there. Gonna probably ask our IT support to try reaching out to her to see if we can allow her, or maybe you could type your question in the chat. Dr. Ruth, one of the outputs of this program is that it should be replicated in other universities across the region. So I'm wondering, what are the next steps for other universities who may not have a program at this level, or who may be looking to improve upon their course offerings? What are the next steps for you?
Thank you for that question. I am happy that Dr. Namdar is on the call, and she was one of 10 persons from regional universities that visited our campus a couple of years ago to actually participate for a week on the program to see what was happening and to do some of the field tours with us. So that was a good first step that was taken through the Director of Energy, Dr. Devon Gardner, and that team, so that they could come and experience what it was like to be in the classroom setting. And at the time, we had one of our visiting lecturers from Germany that was dealing with the elevator pitch and allowing the students to do their business pitches in order to do their projects. So a number of these universities were very anxious to have either the whole program or parts of the program transferred to their universities. So at the moment, through the CARICOM Energy Desk, again, we are working towards having those universities that are interested in having the program to continue the dialogue. And we at the University of Technology, Jamaica, we are very proactive in our discussions with one or two of the universities to see how the program can be adapted and either completely or in parts. So far, the interest has been really the entrepreneurial component of the project, of the master's program. And so this is where there's a need for strengthening in the capacity in academia to go to that level of entrepreneurship, because that is not traditional. So, we have traditionally over the years been doing research, but much of this research has not been translated into products and services that can better serve our people. And that is the whole point of sustainable development, improving the quality of life of our peoples. And we are seeing that. So that is my short version.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ruth. And we definitely look forward to the implementation of this through the Regional Universities Network. We have a comment here from Dion Chambers. She says the program is indeed transformative. Students are exposed to cross-sectional professional capacity building, labs, internship, and current cross-cutting issues of climate change, health and welfare, economics, energy, and renewables. It's a good program for application in other universities and scaling up within national sectors. I'm guessing Dion is one of your graduates as well?
Yes, just about.
All right, that's great. That's great that we have that kind of feedback coming from students who have completed the program. And I will go back, Dr. Patapsing, to that uniqueness of the program, at least in this region, in terms of highlighting entrepreneurship. In some of the previous run webinars that we've had, we see where having those synergies so that we can transform what happens in the classroom into what should happen in industry and really driving the revolution is definitely key for sustainable energy and for us to actually see that transition take place. So thank you very much. And Dr. Ruth, I'll give you any final words before we close. It has indeed been a good discussion so far.
I would thank you. I would just like to encourage those persons who would like to do a program of studies like this, not to hesitate, because, I mean, you have the future in your hands. When you read the comment from Dion already has a master's degree from a university in the UK, but she decided she wanted to investigate further her potential as an entrepreneur. And so, we have a number of students who are now grounded in not just the theory, but using data to support whatever they are going to be doing. So I just want to encourage persons. Also, the fact that we have some very key partners. We have the Caribbean Climate Change Innovation Center, which is a World Bank sponsored center located in Jamaica here at the Scientific Research Council. The general manager there, Mr. Carlington Borrell, he has been very supportive in providing mentorship to all the cohorts of our students. And that is very important for us to have champions and to have mentors in the program. So thank you for this opportunity, for just highlighting the fact that we have a cadre of students who are environmentalists, who are housing experts, who are lawyers, who are politicians even, who have come on this course, and they are able to use their learning to be transformative agents. So thank you very much.
All right, and thank you for sharing with us today. We really have appreciated learning more about that program, but also learning that this program is not going to be confined to the University of Technology Jamaica, but that it will be replicated so that other countries in the region can benefit. And with so much learning taking place online, who knows what the future holds. So thank you to our participants for joining us today and for your participation, for your questions and your comments. Our next Regional Universities Networking webinar will be Friday, June 11th, and our presentation will come to us from the University of Guyana. And so we look forward to hear what our colleagues in Guyana will have to share with us. Enjoy a productive rest of your day, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.